So you don't know, after the disappointment of the Champions League, how the season ended. Did we find a way to bottle the league? Did we throw the FA Cup away? Was the Carabao Cup the only trophy that we managed to win with our ridiculous Manchester City squad? Well, you're going to find out now. How you doing, everybody, and welcome to part 7 of Club 5 here on MyCareer on FM23. FM23 is nearly done. It's very nearly out the door. My name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is going to be the season review of the only season we're doing at Manchester City, at least on FM23. I'll talk about that later. But if you're excited to see how we got on in those final 2 competitions, and if you're excited to round up the season that was, then don't forget to leave a like on the video for me and subscribe so you don't miss any of the nonsense that comes out of that face right there. I've come to you on the Fulham Man City game. Now, I said to you I would record the moment that we won the Premier League if that happens, as well as the FA Cup. Believe it or not, it happened in this match. I went all the way through this really frustrating match where we were 3-0 up, only to go to 3-3. Oh, I was very angry at this game. 6th of May, very angry indeed. However, there was no trophy celebration whatsoever, but this was the game where we won the Premier League title. Trophy number 15, I want to say. I can't remember. I've already edited the thing. I'm pretty sure it's trophy 15. But we did win a league title. I think it's league title number 4, I think. We won 2 at Southampton. We won 1 at Chelsea. And we've won 1 here. So, yeah. League title number 4. And it was in a dross game like this where we got a little bit FM'd, which is a little bit frustrating, but also kind of fitting at the same time. So that was the Premier League. What about the FA Cup final? For the first 45 minutes, we didn't really do that much, but we did kick things off in some style in the second half, pretty much from kickoff. Hadji with the ball through to Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland goes and does what Erling Haaland does best. Poor goalkeeping from Turati there. But you know what? I don't care. Look at it. Look at the beauty of it. I'm very happy with that. But then the negative side. Cole Palmer running through here, gets the ball through to Jay Leathan, and we know how lethal Jay Leathan can be. That's a good sign for England at the World Cup if he can do that on a regular basis, but I wasn't happy seeing it happen against my Manchester City team. But all was not lost because, well, Iraragorri, what a ball that is, and Erling Haaland manages to get past his defender. And it's a little tap home, a tiny little tap home to make it 2-1. And that did lead us to lifting the trophy. Trophy number 16 and the final trophy of my career. 16 trophies. Goodness me, what an effort that is. Worth pointing out that Erling Haaland actually came on at half-time. Kuchiyara started. Didn't have a great game. Didn't have a great game at all. But that's how the season ended. So we actually ended with a domestic treble for the season review. So 3 lovely trophies there. That's why I didn't start on this screen. So let's go through the season that was, and let's talk about our one and only season in FM23 at Manchester City. I do wish we had enough time to get a second season in, because I think that second season, oh boy, what a season that could be. So, signing of the season has been given to Salim Hadji. We've had some great signings. I would say that Youngworth is definitely within a shout for it, but considering the price of Hadji and the expectation we had for him, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't expect him to play that many games, get that many goals, get that many assists. So on that basis, top signing, very much so. Liam Merle came in, £120 million in January. I don't think he's worth that, but he is a top player at this level, 26 years old. Maybe starting every week, definitely not what he would be doing. Of course, in this game, Jay Leathan has signed for us for next season, even though we're not doing it. I just had to do it. He would be back up to Jay Leathan, 100%. Antonio Desmet came in January as well. £80 million well spent on a very capable backup striker. 14 goals, 2 assists. Very much led the line well when we needed him to. The guy who I think is the actual signing of the season, Manuel Youngworth from Bayer Leverkusen, £107 million spent on a right-back who really can be as good of a right back as he is a centre back. The man is 6'5", 17 acceleration, 15 pace, 16 strength, 17 jumping ability. His heading is only 13, but his tackling's good, his marking's good, his passing's good, his crossing's good, his vision's good, his positioning's good, his off the ball is not bad, he's very determined, he's composed, he's got good concentration. I mean, everything you need for him is right there. And it's so frustrating because what do you do with him? Is he a centre-back? Is he a right-back? Well, I mean, I don't know. If this guy was in FM24, he would be perfect, in my opinion, for one of the inverted fullback or inverted wingback roles. Going into that midfield with those stats, I think he would be sensational. I also think he'd be sensational in a back three with wide centre-backs, which I didn't have the confidence to try, but I genuinely think he would be. But 50 appearances in total, actually, 46 starts, 3 goals and 9 assists, superb. As was this guy, Rogelio Iraragorri. Took a long time to get his name. We signed him from Al Hilal in Saudi, which is insane to think about that we got him from there for £15 million. 20-year-old wonder kid. A 20-year-old wonder kid from Mexico. We got him from Saudi for 15 million, and he's that good. I don't even think he's worth 79. I think he's worth over 100 because A, he's sensational already, and B, he'll get even better. But he became our first choice right back. As much as I wanted Youngworth to be a centre back, this guy's performances were what were making me think, let's do it. 4 goals and 9 assists. Played less games than Youngworth, but all of them were at right back. So very good job from him. As was Pedro Mascarell. £79 million. Similar ability to Iraragorri, but older. 5 assists, no goals, but again, played almost all of our games. 49 games played. Stephen Whittle was, I'm not going to say a bit of a gamble, because at the end of the day, Stephen Whittle we know is a good player from England, but we were signing him from a team that's not long been in the Championship. £58 million. I think that was a release clause. And, I mean, again, rotation player because of how good Luis Alberto is, but he did his job well when we needed him to. Not very much in terms of assists for a playmaker, but was involved in moves and did look good doing it and did score an important goal. Roman Darica was a weird one. We were really struggling to find a right midfielder. We could not get Jay Leathan in at that point. We didn't have the money to do it, and Southampton just didn't want to sell him. So we went to Tottenham. We found a left winger and we turned him into a right winger. And he turned out to be pretty decent. 7 goals, 13 assists. Did okay. Wasn't spectacular. Wasn't meant to be. Was meant to fill a gap in the squad. And then we get to a few weird ones. Victor Nienhuis, we signed on loan from Real Madrid basically because we'd made Youngworth the centre-back. We needed another right-back. And then these two were squad fillers. Christopher Ayer barely played. But, I mean, 4 substitution appearances says everything. And only the 2 for Stefan Meyer, which is a shame because he's got potential, but just wasn't good enough to get that starting berth. I mean, transfers out, I don't think we need to dwell on too much. We sold a lot of players. Bukayo Saka was kind of one of the more high-profile ones. He probably could have stayed and done a good job for us this season, but I've just never really gotten on with him. Eli Wahi went to Real Madrid, did okay. Joshua Kimmich was a fan favourite. I mean, to me, not really good enough at 39 years old. Just didn't justify the place in the squad. Willie Signo went to my old club, Chelsea. Oscar Glock went to Everton. There's some of the bigger names. Bojan Suric was apparently a big name, went to Leverkusen. Luis Ferreira was I don't know about a big name, but he was a name at the club. Jonathan Juarez is the most disappointing because we thought he was going to be a superstar for the future. Was terrible for us. Anthony Gordon had definitely hit his kind of potential already. We let him go, and the rest of the players we don't really need to worry about. So let's move on to the season results. Premier League. Completed it, mate. 38 games, 31 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, a goal difference of plus 72, 97 points. First season at the club. Come on now. The top goal scorer for us was Erling Haaland with 39 goals. He scored more goals than there were games in the league. And only a handful of losses. That one against Man United there you can see on the list. Then the one against Everton. And then near the end of the season, my head might be in the way. It might not be. But West Ham United did beat us 1-0. But we had some good scores in there. Like a 6-0 against Middlesbrough was good fun. There's a few 3s and 4s around. There's a 5-2 there. An 8-0 drubbing of Middlesbrough was particularly excellent. That's the game I recorded that didn't record because I ran out of room on my computer. But yeah, interesting table though. Arsenal and United in the top 4, you'd expect that potentially. Newcastle, you'd sort of expect that. Southampton just struggling to get into the Champions League is a bit disappointing. But Chelsea only getting 8th is not a disappointment for them, because at one point they were really struggling. They were like just outside the relegation zone. Liverpool in 12th, at one point they were in the relegation zone. So, you know, take it as it comes. No one cares about the Champions League. No, I'm kidding. Erling Haaland with 9 goals. We got to the semi-final. We were meant to get to the latter stages. We did that. But getting knocked out by Arsenal the way that we did, I mean, we folded like a house of cards in the end. 2-0 lead just disappeared completely. But I've said before, I don't like the away fixture seconds. I really do struggle with it. And that just shows it there. And we didn't take all of our chances in the home leg. We could have won that 4-0. So, it is what it is. Right, Emirates FA Cup. We won it. Great. Southampton 2-1. You've seen the goals. Fantastic. Lovely little run. Only a couple of big teams on the way. Cucurella with 4 goals. Lovely stuff. In the Carabao Cup, Erling Haaland with 9 goals. Beating Newcastle 5-1 in the final. We did squeak past Arsenal in that one. And we had the away leg in that one. And we didn't completely capitulate. So, it's Champions League. We just bottled it a bit. Moments to remember. 9-0 against Shakhtar. Goodness me. I forgot about that. Iragori playing as a winger with a hat-trick. Let's think about that for a second. Desmet with a hat-trick as well. And then Saliba, Youngworth and Nikodievich getting goals as well. In terms of the match to remember in the Premier League, 8-0. So we were slacking on that one. Hadji with a hat-trick. Haaland with 2. Foden, Derica and Cucurella all getting 1 each. And then the goal of the season was from Marco Cucurella. I think we all remember this one. I think I know exactly what goal this is. I remember being really happy with it. Let's have a look at it together, shall we? Because I think I really like this goal. Oh, I think I do. Oh, I'd like to see it again. Game, thank you. Yeah, it is that one. Gets headed out here by Luca. Cucurella gets it. Couple of touches and bang! How about that? We've had some spectacular goals this season, to be fair. I couldn't tell you all of them, but we have had some spectacular ones. That one, though, I think, to go ahead in the tie, because that is the winning goal, because we were 0-0 on the first leg. That is the winning goal. We made it look a bit better after 2 more goals in the game. But that's a stunning strike. Finance-wise, I mean, our reputation is worldwide. How it's not 5-star, I don't really know. Sponsorship went up by $1 million. Our broadcast revenue went down, which is interesting, considering we got to the Champions League semi-final, but there we go. Corporate and hospitality went up, competition prize money went up, and match day and commercial and retail went up as well. The top shirt seller is Phil Foden, followed by Erling Haaland, and then it's Bellingham, Cucurella, and then Merle. So we did bring someone in who ended up on that list, which is good to see. Good to see people like Bellingham and Foden and Haaland still on there as well, and I really like to see Marco Cucurella on there too. Team of the season. That is the team of the year. I'm not going to lie, there's a couple of surprises. The back 5, including the goalkeeper, not a surprise at all. I would have gone with exactly the same thing. Midfield 2, no Luis Alberto. I'm very surprised to see that, but Stephen Whittle did play well. That front attacking midfield 3, oh, we need to talk about that. Rothel instead of Foden, Hadji instead of Cucurella, Merle I understand completely. But attacking midfield and left wing, I am very surprised about. Erling Haaland, obviously there. In terms of accolades, I won the Manager of the Month for August, October, November, and the Manager of the Year, because of course I did. Lovely stuff. By the way, just in case anyone's wondering, that's not actually my birthday. I just wanted to let you know. In terms of club awards, Fans Player of the Season was Erling Haaland. Not really that surprised. Young Player was Salim Hadji. Not really that surprised. He was also the signing of the season. I could argue that, but I'm not that against it, to be honest. He was sensational. I think Cucurella would be stuck for a starting place next year with how well he's played. But Marco Cucurella did score the goal of the season. Top goal scorer with 59 goals was Erling Haaland. Most assists was Rothel with 23. That was going to be Foden at one point. Who's Foden? That was going to be Foden at one point, but then Nicky Rothel just kind of took over after Foden had his injury. Most Player of the Match awards, as you'd imagine, is Erling Haaland. Highest average rating, as you'd imagine, is Erling Haaland. And despite the fact he only got to us in January and barely played, Willie Saliba ended up playing with the most passes completed per 90 minutes. Insane. Competition awards, oh, there's a few, and a few of them are the same name. So, Champions League Player of the Season, Haaland. Champions League Forward of the Season, Haaland. I didn't put my finger up. FIFA's Best Men's Player, Haaland. FIFA Pro Player of the Year, Haaland. English Footballer of the Year, Haaland. English Players Player of the Year, Haaland. English Premier Division Top Goal Scorer, Haaland. North American Player of the Year, no, it's not Haaland actually. It's Rogelio Iragori. And then English Players Young Player of the Year is Salim Hadji. So, Record breakers, goodness me. Most overall goals by a player in the season, 59 goals is sensational. Most overall assists by a player in the season, Rothel with 23. So Haaland with 59 goals, Rothel with 23. Clean sheets, 29 overall. For us, that's a record. He was second, Rosenbrick, in the clean sheet ranking, so he did quite well. I'm actually kind of glad we didn't bin him off because of that. I wonder how I've forgotten who the guy was. Balaric? No, Balaric was the defender. Dimitru. I wonder how Dimitri would have done in this defence, actually. I think it would have been quite interesting. Player of the match awards, we know it was that. And then most league goals by a player, 319. Holy goodness me. Domestic hat-trick, I will take that all day long. And dynamic timeline. So, I mean, we'll go through it quickly. We started at Dartford. If you don't know that, we started at Dartford. Normally, I would link you back to there now. You go back if you want to watch it. Obviously, I know it's at the end of FM23, so you're probably not going to want to. But go back and give it a watch. It was good fun. But we started there, went up a couple of leagues. And then the second we got into the National League, we got an offer from Tranmere. And that is where we finally went into the Football League. We did it kind of maybe a bit... Not a bit too early, but we probably could have stayed at Dartford another season and cemented them a little bit better in the in League 2, maybe. But we ended up moving. I haven't actually got to there at this point. I'm already talking about it. So we got promotion around. We resigned and went to Tranmere here. Very well there. Very, very well indeed. Beat some big teams. Beat Sheffield Wednesday. Beat Shrewsbury. League 1 teams here, there and everywhere. Beat Preston 4-0 as well in the EFL Cup. Genuinely, we were a good team at that level. Got promoted with a record points haul at the time. We were the manager of the year. Went into League 1. I mean, what a signing we had. I mean, we signed some great players as well. And then, I mean, signed the Ting. I thought I said signed the King, and I was going to say Sam Barnes. I couldn't agree more. But then we went up from League 1. So back-to-back promotions, got to what is the Championship. I couldn't think of the word there. With the top goal scorer in League 1, we were fantastic. And then, wow, I mean, what a season that was to get us promoted to the Championship. But halfway through the season, we got the offer from Southampton. That was tough because Southampton at the time were in and around the relegation zone. There was no guarantee they were going to be in the Premier League. So, we were trying to get Tranmere promoted, and we had to decide whether to join the team that could be in the Championship. We took the gamble, and Southampton stayed up. Tranmere also got promoted as well. We got them promoted. We stayed there until the job was done. The job did get done. We didn't win the league, but we came second. And then we moved to Southampton. Oh boy, we had some fun here. We spent some money as well. We really did. 300 matches by the time we got to 5-0 over Norwich. Absolutely superb time at Southampton. I think that's probably my favourite period of the save. Signed some quality players. We got some youngsters onto the next gen list as well. Diego Tapia and Carl Jimenez getting there. Jimenez we never got back to. We never reunited with him, but Tapia obviously came with us to Chelsea eventually. We signed Andrea Pinamonti. What a signing that was, by the way. We also signed Luke Thomas from Leicester. Great left back. We signed Hector February, who really got more towards his potential at Chelsea, not really at Southampton. We actually had Richarlison for a bit. I forgot about that. We let him go. Luke Thomas I've already mentioned. We then moved captains around and put Lavia as the captain. We signed Jimenez. Thank God about... Well, no, we didn't sign Thank God about you, but we signed Jimenez. We signed Hector February, and then we developed Thank God Abaje, Sam Roberts, and Linton Hamnet. Hamnet and Roberts and Abaje are kind of starting to break through. Roberts has moved on from Southampton, gone to a club where he's playing more regularly football. We got another youth player who develops by the name of Aaron Biley. I'm hoping another player shows up actually, but top goal scorer for the 28-29 season was Andrea Pinamonti. He was absolutely sensational. We won Player of the Year in the Premier League. Pinamonti also won Champions League top goal scorer that season. We then spent all of the money. We brought in Joe Veloso, which was just a sensational piece of business. We also signed Orlando from Manchester United, who ended up being a sensational striker in our final season. Next gen list: Thank God Abaje, Walker Hughes, Linton Hamnet, Sam Roberts. Jay Leathan never appeared. He did win an award. I can't remember which one it was, but he didn't appear on there, which was interesting. And I don't think he's going to appear on this list. Do you know what? I think he might be over here. Shoulder Up eventually signed for us as well. Actually, is Jay Leathan over here? No. But Paris Walker-Hughes won it. I'm sure at some point Jay Leatham won an award. But my word, we had such good success, and then we eventually did win the Champions League in our final season before moving to Chelsea. Spent a lot of money. I love that it says Frank Lampard returned to Chelsea as manager. Under 18's manager. Just get that clear. But we moved to Chelsea after we're having some fantastic success at Southampton. The most successful part of the save. 2 lovely seasons at Chelsea. We signed players. We signed Tapia. We signed Francois Herault back from Wolfsburg, who we sold to Wolfsburg from Southampton because we didn't deem him good enough. Ended up being good enough. Bayrak came in. We also had so many other players, to be fair. But we also brought in Pinamonti, and he was definitely worth it. I'm a little bit all over the place in this description. We will go over the save properly in a roundup video. But Nathan Mackie joining was a big move. Declan Rice coming in was a bit of a weird one. We then got the England manager's job, which was what it was. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But then we joined Manchester City. I mean, we spent a hideous amount of money, an absolute hideous amount of money. And that brings us to now. And yeah, the board are delighted. Everyone's happy. The only person that isn't happy is Cucciaro. We actually had an end of season spat with him because he wants to be our only free kick taker, and he's just not. So make of that what you will. But that's really the season review. That's really all this video was about, was going through all of that stuff. Again, it's weird because normally we'd be transfer planning, but there's no transfer planning to do at this point because there is no future for this save. Or is there? I haven't looked into the logistics of this. I might continue this as a Twitch save in FM24. I don't know what the logistics are and the limitations are on moving saves over to FM24. I know it's a feature, but I might do that on Twitch, possibly, because I've had so much fun with this save, with this set of players that are in this database, that I might just continue it. I mean, the idea to develop someone like Salim Hadji into what could be the best in the world, we're getting Jay Leatham in, there's so many other players we could bring in as well. Developing this back four properly. I mean, Iragori, Youngworth, Stoppelkamp, Mascarell. If we can do the new tactics as well, playing around with these guys, bringing in someone like Dumitru to see whether he is better than Rosenbrick. There's so many things we could do. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know whether it's possible. I also don't know whether I will do it. But oh my word, it would be a lot of fun. So leave that one with me. But shifting gears, World Cup. World Cup has yet to happen yet. At the moment, we have a large squad. We've just called up as many players as we saw that were decent, and we could call up to 55. We ended up calling up 33, and we've got to make the cuts. I mean, we've got 4 goalkeepers. I think I know who's getting taken out. It's going to be Brennan Bradbury. Carl Good, although he's only 5 foot nothing, 5'11" actually. He could come in handy. He could be decent. Defence is going to be a tough one. Midfield's going to be a tough one. Forward line's going to be a tough one. I mean, what is good and what is worth mentioning is that Alan Skinner did get back to playing and did end up scoring a few goals at the end of the season. He probably is going to be the freshest player in the squad as a result of that. But we've got some quality players. I mean, Emre Tezgel, I mean, look at the season he's had when we get to it. Do you know what? He's not actually had the best season. We might start Skinner, you know. He's dropped off this year. He's nowhere near as prolific as he has been in the last few years. He's not dropped off by much, to be fair. Actually, he's been more of a team player than anything. But his England record is ridiculous. 46 in 44. It would almost be ridiculous not to start him. So I'm kind of talking myself out of that. But he's probably going to be a star for us in that case. But I might give Skinner a go in those friendlies because we know what Tezgel can do. Michael Holford's an outside chance, probably won't do anything, but Jay Leatham absolutely will be playing for us. Modest season when you look at the stats. 6 goals, 7 assists, 7.14, but we know what he can do in an England shirt. Almost all of that has been this season, and he's been sensational. One of the casualties of England not playing with wingers up until we arrived. But I can understand why now I've seen the squad structure. Charlie Traynor is a defensive midfielder. I have sung my praises about him. I think he's a sensational defensive midfielder. I would like to sign him for Man City if we continue the save in FM24. I think he'd be great. I could go on about this squad. It's so good. I mean, the age of the squad has always been an issue, but actually, look at how much of the squad out of the 33. It's 8 people. We have got a squad or 25 if you take all of those out, that is under 30. I think that's actually pretty good going considering where we were when we started here. And when you look at the best players in the squad as well, quite a few of them are in their prime or entering it. Like the first 30-year-old you come to is Jude Bellingham, and he's like 7th or 8th on the list. That's a good sign. But I think we're going to end things there. I'm going to do that off camera because I don't need to. I was going to resign from Manchester City. I'm not going to do that just in case we do get to transfer it over. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this save. It's the first time I've done something like this on camera, a long-term save like this. This was literally from after the beta of FM23, so it's been running a good long while. Parts of why it's taken so long really have been down to myself, down to my job, down to moving jobs, down to moving house again. So hopefully this year in FM24, when we get to this save, it'll be a bit smoother, and maybe we'll call it a little bit earlier next time to give ourselves a bit of breathing room, because obviously it's run a bit tight this year. But all of that to say, thank you very much for watching this video and this series. We will do a roundup video after the World Cup, but do not forget to leave a like on there for me, and do not forget to subscribe. It is free to do so, and you'll make me very happy. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you for the World Cup. Cheers.